Hello and welcome to Hero Wars Info. My name is Ryan. Hope everyone is doing well. Today, the topic of conversation is where should I be spending emeralds? And I want to break this down into a couple of categories. First, I want to go over what you could be spending on a daily basis for emeralds. And I'll tell you what I do. And it really depends on if you're spending or not, on if this is going to be possible. Then we're going to get into if you are a small emerald spender, meaning you don't get that many emeralds. You don't buy anything, but you still want to know what would be best for you. And then we're going to get into kind of the bigger places where you can use emeralds. That's going to be more for the people who are spending money on the game, have a lot of excess emeralds to use, and really want to get their value out of it. So, first off, let's talk about the daily spends. So, regardless on if you are a new old player, if you are a big spender, small spender, I think there are a couple spots that are just good values that you can still use emeralds on every day. The first one of those is just energy, right? If you buy energy, you have the ability to buy 120 energy for 50 emeralds twice each day, meaning you can get 240 energy for 100 emeralds. I don't think 100 emeralds per day is a big ask for anyone. You should be getting at least 100 emeralds from different activities. This is a really good ratio. It really helps you to build up your guild activity points so you can get runes. And will give you just more items that you would be able to use on your heroes. Now, I actually go to the next level, usually, which is buying the 100 emeralds for 120 energy. You can do that 5 times. And I usually do that as well. Now, the question on if I actually choose to buy that is if there are special events that have energy that is needed to help get you further in the event. So in cases like that, if there isn't any energy events that are needed, then I sometimes actually won't even buy the 100 emeralds. I will just stay still at the 50 emeralds. Now, again, I am a spender, at least a little bit. I'm not a whale or anything like that, but I do spend a little bit, so I have a little bit more of a budget here. So, because of that, I'm okay going up to and spending around 650 emeralds a day, or 600 just on energy. So that's definitely the first place. If you are don't get that many emeralds, then you probably should only be buying the first two. Those are the absolute best values. So that's number one for the daily spend. Secondly, for the daily spend, there are specific items within the tower that can be very good values. I usually will only buy specific items that I need. So there's only a few items that personally I need, and I'm happy to go over those and talk about those. But then there's other items that I'll pass. Now, the items that I think you should be buying are going to be these first 6 every single time. Alchemist sets, Lycanthrope's Fang, Lamort's cards, Harunian Helms, Enigma's Chronicles, Throwing Knives. All of these you're going to require so many of these throughout all of Hero Wars for so many different heroes, right? You're never going to have enough of these. So if they come up and you're more of a moderate spender, I would absolutely encourage you to spend the 50 to 100 emeralds to try to get it in the tower. This is actually a better value than even buying energy because it will be like, let's say you spend 100 emeralds to get an item. If it's on the 50, you'll get a minimum of 3 to 4. And then if it is on the 100 emerald spend, you'll get 6 to 7, which is actually almost guaranteed more than you would be getting if you actually spent energy in the campaign. So I will use it for those orange items. There's a couple red items that I also really go for. That's Devourer of Mages, Simon's Enlightenment, and some of the ones that, depending on if I have a hero that needs it bad, Egret of Nocturnal Cicadas, and Dragon's Heart. Those are the ones that I seem to have the most trouble collecting. So that's Emerald spend number 2 in terms of dailies. Lastly, in the Soul Shop, if you already have all your heroes maxed out for Ultimate Stars, the Soul Shop can be a great place to spend emeralds. And I'm talking about just refreshing right here twice on a daily basis. That should be 50 emeralds per refresh that you do. But if you have plenty of soul coins, it's well worth it. You can see here as I go over to my other shops, I have significantly less on those other shops coins than I have soul coins. Soul coins you can get pretty easily once all your heroes are maxed out, or even most of your heroes are maxed out. So it's a good idea to be able to utilize those to get different items. So that's kind of the small purchases, the daily purchases that you can think about. Now let's start talking about spending emeralds for different around the game areas. Now, if you're a small to medium spender, it's going to be very important that you're very strategic about not only where you spend the emeralds, but when. And what I mean by that is if you are a free to play or you don't spend much in the game, you really want to make sure that you're going to be double dipping or triple dipping whenever you spend emeralds. So take for example this event. There was a spend emeralds for both the Elmir event, the Legacy of the Great Ones event, and Emerald Waterfalls. So this is really what we'd consider a triple dip, meaning you spend emeralds and you'll get 3 different rewards plus the rewards you would get for spending those emeralds. So, like, whenever these opportunities come along, this is some of the best opportunities to actually spend emeralds. Now, if you are spending the emeralds on these events, and let's say you have 10,000, 20,000, just to help you get over and get the next reward, especially on events like these where you might just need 100 more points to get the next reward. Where should you be spending those? So I'm going to give you the top options for kind of the smaller spends. Now, first I want to go over where I am not going to be spending any emeralds ever. The first one I'm not going to be spending emeralds on is the pet summoning. Avoid it. It is not good value. You eventually will get plenty of pet eggs that you'll be getting, and these getting your pets to Ultimate Star is not going to be like the last thing that's going to happen. So I would absolutely avoid this 100%. So do not spend on the Pet Sanctuary. Where I also would not spend is the Circle of Summoning. Now, I will have a small caveat on here. If you do not have your hero or your Titans maxed out for their star level, then I don't think it's a completely terrible idea, but the amount that you get compared to what you actually receive is pretty small. And if you are in an active guild, it's possible for you to get a lot of these free, so that you will get your maxed out star Titans relatively soon. So I would also discourage you from spending here if you're a kind of small to medium player, unless you're trying to get your last Titan for your main team to max star. Now, the worst case is the Soul Atrium. I would never, ever, ever spend any emeralds on the Soul Atrium. It's a terrible spend. Awful. Again, there are caveats. The one caveat being if you're trying to get a specific hero, and whenever I talk about specific heroes, I'm really only talking about 2. Lara Croft right now or Ninja Turtles, because they will offer souls occasionally here for emeralds. But besides that, I would never, ever, ever spend emeralds on the Soul Atrium. You are going to get all your heroes maxed out long before you get a lot of the other stuff maxed out. And if that's the case, then you just don't want to spend emeralds on things to max them out quickly, because it's not going to really help you in the long term. Now, what are some of the better options if you're a smaller spender? First thing is Outland. Outland will give you skin stones. If you spend 90 emeralds, you can do that twice, and you'll have a chance to either get 50 of your selected skin stones. And you can see here you have one for intelligence, strength, and agility. Or you also have a chance to get Outland coins, which then can be spent for Outland chests to get you, or Skinstone chests to get you Skinstones. And then on the third one, you'll get a freebie. This can be a decent purchase, especially if there are events that ask you to open Outland chests. Usually those events also will ask you to spend emeralds, so if you're doing that, it's kind of a double dip in and of itself. However, I'm not a huge fan of spending in Outland, and the biggest reason why is because you can get a lot of skins in a lot of different places. Number one, you're going to be getting them from the Outland shop. I don't spend any coins on any of these items ever. I will only spend Outland coins on getting these Skinstone chests. That's a nice way to get them. Number two, you also have the ability to get Skinstone chests from the Titan Valley and the merchant right here for elemental tournament certificates. So each one can get you one Skinstone chest. It's not going to be a ton, but every single week you should be getting something from there. But lastly, and this is really where you can get a lot of Skinstones, is the events. Now, almost every single event will have the ability for you to get Skinstone chests and buy those. And you can spend everything that you get on the event on those Skinstone chests and really get those pretty quickly. So they're not very hard to get, which is why I would probably hold up on Outland and spending emeralds there, unless it's kind of a very strategic time. Next up, if you're a small spender, where you can go is the airship and these artifact chests. Now, this is not the best value, but it will help you upgrade levels, which will help you continually get more artifact coins, as well as some of these items to power up your heroes. I would say, in terms of difficulty to get these artifacts, it's probably about a medium level. It's difficult, but not super difficult to be able to upgrade these. So for me personally, I don't really spend that many emeralds in the airship. Now, you can also spend emeralds in a couple other places, and these are kind of where we talk about being a bigger spender. And let's go with the one that is a little bit more timed, but that's Asgard. Whenever they have an event where it says spend the astral sphere 30 times, I usually do that just because it gives you some eternal seeds, which I think are super valuable. And if you do the times 100 spend, you're, I think, almost guaranteed to get this grand prize. So it can be positive. It can get you a lot of Ascension resources. And Ascension resources are some of the hardest to get in the game. Probably the hardest, and because you just need so many for each hero. Now, the negative about this is that you're not really able to choose what you get. Sure, you can try to do it on a good day where there's a good daily double, but even then, you're probably on 100 spend getting maximum of 500 for a specific insignia, and that's if you get pretty lucky. So I've done this a couple times, probably 5, 6 times. It's not my favorite place to spend emeralds, but I don't think it's a bad choice per se, just because you need so much of this stuff. Now, my personal favorite spot to spend emeralds is the Titan Valley. And the first spot for almost everyone who's going to be watching this video is going to be the Altar of the Elements. And why do I say that? Some of the hardest things to get in the game are totems. And spending emeralds in the Altar of the Elements will, if you spend enough, eventually get you a totem. Now, each totem, roughly, is going to require 300,000 emeralds to get that. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. You don't need to spend them all at one time, but you can, if let's say you have 10,000 to spend here, 20,000 here, eventually, if you spend enough, you'll either luck your way into a totem, or you will have bad luck protection at the 300,000 emerald spend to be able to get you a totem. Now, totems are incredibly valuable. They power up your Titan teams. If you care about Titans at all, that is what you're going to want to be getting. Besides that, it gives you some of these Titan artifact fragments, which are helpful. I wouldn't say you're trying to spend emeralds directly for these, but they are helpful to get different seals, which are kind of the main powerhouse of your Titans, as well as the crowns or the artifact Titan weapons. But if you are able to get some totems out of spend, that's going to really help your different Titan teams be a lot stronger. But really, and this is probably going to be a little bit controversial, but where I think most people should be spending their emeralds is right here. And this is the fire spirit totems or the water spirit totem. Whatever your main totem is where I would be spending emeralds to try to upgrade it. Now, I want to make a few points to make sure that you're spending emeralds in the right spot. Number one, it takes forever to level up one of these if you're going to do it the old-fashioned way without emeralds. I think it's close to 5 years if your guild gets first in every single battle and every single week they're first overall with Guild War trophies to do one. Like 5 years. It's an incredibly long process. So it can really help to upgrade your totems once you hit the gold trophies. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for Silver War trophies because you can get enough of those to upgrade. It still will take a long time, but if you are in a guild league and you have a guild or a gold team, what I would suggest is saving the gold trophies and using emeralds to upgrade your Titans artifacts, the totems, the totems to around level 110 or so before I start to use the actual gold league trophy that you will be able to get. And the reason I say that is because at least if you're using like a dark or light, the spend for the Clash of Worlds trophies are actually a lot better. So, for example, if right now I can either spend 900 Clash of Worlds trophies to level up, or I can spend 5,000 emeralds. But if I go up in 10 levels in just a little bit, I'll now have the option to spend 11,000 Clash of Worlds trophies or 10,000 emeralds. So you really want to save those until the later stages because it's easier to level up with emeralds early. If you are in a bronze league, I would not be spending emeralds at all on the bronze to get to level 40 of these Titan totems because you can just upgrade it with your bronze league trophies. It does not take long to do that, and those are pretty easy to get. So my strategy here is wait and on the Gold League trophies and the Clash of Worlds trophies until you get to a later level. Use emeralds once you have to start to use Gold League trophies. That way you can just get as far as possible, as fast with your emerald spend. Now, I'm trying to max out all my totems, so the next spend of emeralds that I do is probably going to be on totem still. And it'll probably actually be on this dark totem, even though I don't have this team leveled up crazy amount yet. I do want to make sure that I am trying to push this as far as possible with emeralds before I use the Clash of Worlds trophies, because it just is much more cost effective. Now, what is going to happen if you spend emeralds on your totem is if you're in a Gold League guild, you'll be able to compete more. You might get pretty strong, or if you are able to start to defend or attack with Titans, that's going to be a big help to your guild. Now, I know Titan fighting for a lot of people isn't that exciting, but it's going to be very important. And I have a feeling, and I don't have any confirmation of this, but I have a feeling that they're going to put in different Titan PvP modes sooner rather than later. And I'm not even talking about like the Tournament of Elements type of mode, right? Like that's easy. You can do that just by clicking auto. I'm talking about like an area of conquest with Titans, something like that, right? Where the stronger Titan teams you have, the easier it is for you going to be successful in that mode. But we'll see if that happens. My guess is they are going to go that direction sometime. And having a strong Titan team will be very beneficial whenever that happens. Now, if you don't care about Titans, I would probably recommend Asgard, energy on the daily, and probably the airship, because that's where you're going to really see the best ROI for your spend. I hope this was helpful in terms of the thinking of where I spend. And just before I let you go, I do want to show you. I have a plugin called Hero Wars Assistant, and one of the nice things that it does is it shows you where you've spent emeralds. Now, it's not crazy accurate for the Titan artifact spheres, because even if you, let's say, get a totem from a season, it actually counts that as you having spent 300,000 emeralds, even if you didn't spend any emeralds. So, because of that, you can see here that I have an obscene 8.4 million emeralds spent on the Titan artifact spheres. That's incorrect. In reality, in terms of doing the spins, like actual 100 for 4,500 emeralds, I maybe have spent probably close to 1 million emeralds. That's my best guess. But you can see here, I've only spent 5,600, and this is a lifetime on the Circle of Summoning, and this was probably because I didn't have enough for an event and I wanted to get there, so I would use that. And then I've spent a decent amount, 50,000 emeralds on artifact chests, which is the airship right here. And then lastly, I've spent only 2,500 on the pet summoning eggs. And the 2,500 was early on, and that honestly was just to do this spin once, because I think there's a quest where if you spin once, you get 3,000 emeralds back. So it was really a free spin plus 500 emeralds for that. So never use this. Just really, really want to emphasize that. Now, there are a few other places you can spend emeralds, such as like skins for Titans. Like you can upgrade that way. Titan potions, you can do it that way too. I wouldn't recommend those. You can get those resources with events and a far better spend than actually spending emeralds for those. So I would avoid those as well. And lastly, the biggest trap is, let's see if I even have it up here. Not the offer of the day. Nope, looks like I don't have it up here right now. But whenever you go through, it's the rarity fair. That is a terrible idea. Never use the rarity fair. Don't use your emeralds for that. It's one of the worst spends. You can use emeralds a lot better in a lot of different ways. Hope this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. If you want to see specific videos on other topics, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much.